the Sustainability Management Master's Program, you're answering one simple question. Do you care about your future generation? If you care about your kids, their grandkids, then you care about sustainability. And a sustainability manager is someone who has the tools to make people understand how they can contribute towards developing a sustainable world. We have both part-time and full-time students. Our curriculum is 30 hours. Instead of thesis, we have a research project course and a seminar course which provides them with the kind of research background they will need to be successful in their job. But at the same time, sustainability is not always everything about environment. It also relates to the business. They will take a sustainable business strategies course. They will take a project management course. Most of these courses are going to be taught by industry people, the people who are doing sustainability on a daily basis as a part of their job. Any organization that has a large number of employees and has a physical infrastructure, they will have to have a sustainability office. If you have the passion to develop and maintain a sustainable world, come to us and we will help you shape your passion into a career which will create an impact. The Spring 2025 Sustainability Seminar Series. So, as you must have noticed, if you have looked at the syllabus, that we have put an excellent slate of speakers this semester. So, those of you who are taking the seminar course for credit, if you haven't yet, definitely look at the syllabus that I have uploaded in Canvas. The syllabus is self-explanatory and we'll not discuss it here. So if you have any questions, just email me or email Khalid and copy me and I will answer your questions. So all our speakers have kindly agreed to stay behind after the seminars until 6:20 so that you can chat with them. So you use this opportunity to network with some of the best minds in sustainability. And, maybe some of them can become your industry mentors in the capstone projects. So after the end of the seminar, Khalid will open a breakout room where you can interact with the speakers. But to attend, you must be a sustainability management student or enrolled for credit in the seminar this semester. So you'll see that this semester I have invited several of our own program alumni as speakers. Our program is just over 8 years old, and we are very proud that several of our students are already in senior leadership positions in the sustainability space. So our speaker today is one such young leader, Amanda Neshewat. Amanda is the Director of Sustainability and Community Outreach for the Hudson County Improvement Authority. She is also the CEO and founder of Envision Green LLC, where she partners with local governments to help them achieve their sustainability and climate goals. So Amanda was appointed by Governor Murphy to the New Jersey Plastics Advisory Council, tasked with addressing plastic waste and improving recycling methods. She has gotten many awards, including the United Nations ATOP Peace Award, the North Jersey Young Environmental Innovator Award, and was honored as Woman of the Year in Hudson County. Additionally, Amanda was recognized as one of the top 50 most influential people in Hudson County. So, Amanda graduated with an MS in Sustainability Management from Stevens in 2019. She also did a certificate in Executive Leadership for Sustainability from Harvard. So today she will talk about how to drive change by bridging local action and global impact for a sustainable future. So welcome, Amanda, all yours.
Thank you. Thanks so much. And thank you for inviting me to be here with you today to talk a little bit about what I do, and very, very proud to be an alumni of the Sustainability Masters program. Graduated in 2019, and it's definitely propelled my career to new heights. So thank you, Dr. Sarkar, for the introduction. Okay, so let's see if this is... Okay, great. So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the work that I do locally with governments in sustainability and climate solutions. And I'm also going to be talking about some of the work that I do globally at the United Nations with non-governmental organizations, NGOs. So a little bit about me, I have been working as a sustainability professional in government in New Jersey for the past 15 years. And around the same time, also joined the United Nations as a youth representative with non-governmental organizations. And then as of recent, after the more than a decade of experience in government doing sustainability work, I launched my own sustainability consulting business called Envision Green LLC. To help governments understand how to at least tackle the low-hanging fruit in their municipalities. So currently in government, I have a relatively new role, actually. I was hired in 2020. I still feel really new, but I work for the Hudson County Improvement Authority. I'm their Director of Sustainability and Community Outreach. It is a new position with the HCIA. Previously, the role was really focused on solid waste and recycling and litter, education and abatement programs. But when I joined, we expanded upon it because the county thought that it was going to be important to bring someone on that really understands sustainability and can work through that kind of lens. The HCIA is actually a public autonomous agency. So it is actually not the county, but we work alongside Hudson County a lot. So you'll see me talking a lot about some of the county initiatives that I get to work on. So, some of the stuff that I do for the HCIA, which I won't really be diving into so much today because we don't have that much time, is that I work as a sustainability advisor for the Hudson County Improvement Authority, as well as for Hudson County, which is great that I can sort of extend my reach beyond our own agency as the Improvement Authority and work with Hudson County Parks and Rec, Buildings and Grounds, Hudson County Planning. It's been a really amazing experience. But also because I work with the Hudson County Improvement Authority, I work with 12 different municipalities within the county. There's 12 towns in Hudson County. And so I'm a sustainability advisor for municipalities as well as schools and businesses. So pretty much anything that a municipality wants to do, whether it's adopt electric vehicles on their fleet, put solar panels on their buildings, work on litter campaigns, understand how to navigate energy efficiency incentives available to governments, they can call me and I can help. And if I don't have the answer, I can find someone that does. So I try to be as much of a resource to governments as I can here. We're also tasked with improving recycling in Hudson County because the HCIA implements the solid waste management plan. Every single county has a solid waste management plan. And an important piece of that, obviously, is recycling because it's mandatory to recycle in New Jersey. So since I have been at the HCIA, I have been working on improving all of our recycling programs because it's beyond what you throw outside on your curb, like your plastic bottles and cans and cardboard. We also have electronic waste recycling, which every single town in the state actually, but especially in Hudson County, has a recycling program for e-waste. By the way, one of the most important things you can do is ensure that you're recycling your electronic waste properly with us, because we actually really do need those critical materials, those minerals that are in there to continue to make all those batteries that we're making, which I'll talk about in a second. Food waste is another thing that we are launching. A couple of years ago, we developed a pilot grant program for towns to experiment with food waste collection strategy. And so far, at this point, half of the towns in Hudson County are taking advantage of food waste programs, most recently in West New York to expand their program of their growing population interested in food waste collection. So that's been a great program. And of course, will help to keep food waste out of landfills, which we know methane is a huge problem, and food waste contributes to runaway methane in our atmosphere. Hazardous waste is also something that we do recycle in Hudson County, or at least accept from residents. All of those weird things that you don't know how to get rid of, we have hazardous waste collection events throughout the year in almost every town and throughout the state as well, but also especially in Hudson County. And if you check our website, www.hcia.org, you'll see our latest calendar on there to look at other programs that we have. We have clothing, textile recycling programs this year where we'll recycle anything from clothes, shoes, rugs, um, carpets, towels that are torn. We find markets for all of those kinds of textiles with a company called Helpsy, which is really exciting. Um, Pumpkin recycling, cigarette recycling, which is going to come soon as a pilot for our government buildings. So it's a really exciting time for recycling. We also do trainings on recycling collection strategy. So if you're at a school, a college, or even an elementary school, a business, you're an apartment building, you're a government building, and you want some assistance with how to recycle better, we will come in and do a training, which is a new program that we now have that businesses are actually taking advantage of because there's so much confusion around recycling that we're trying to demystify in the county. We also do a lot of education and outreach programs. So we will do K through 12 elementary schools and up to high schools. We come in, we do a 40-minute presentation on recycling, but also on worms and composting, vermicomposting. Those are very popular. We reach out to about 300 schools a year and we get booked every single week. We have a new and improved program. We have a great environmental educating coordinator that's working on this, Kate Hester. She's doing a great job. So if you know any schools that are interested in these presentations, please let us know because we'd love to come in. We also have Earth Day. It's one of our biggest events. We've been doing Earth Day in Hudson County for 35 years. And this year we have two events on April 26th in Jersey City and May 3rd in North Bergen. We try to make it very family friendly. So there's fun things to do for kids, but we also make it educational. So we'll have electric vehicles there so that you can ask questions to dealerships about EVs. We're also going to have companies that do energy efficiency programs that are sponsored by the government and have government and incentives for you as a resident. We've got education on things like recycling, on composting, a bunch of fun things. So come by. Jersey City has a lot of organizations that do a lot of great work. So we also have a lot of giveaways, so hope to see you there. And then we also have, we administer a program called New Jersey Clean Communities. I'm the Clean Communities Coordinator for Hudson County, and that is mainly a program to ensure that we are tackling litter in our county. So every single county has their Clean Communities Coordinator. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about litter in a second. Okay, so we are doing a lot of really exciting programs. Like I said, I wanted to kind of focus on some of the ones that I'm most excited about that I think you'd also be interested in, starting with our electric vehicle master plan that we are developing in Hudson County. So we currently have at the HCIA Ford Mach-E's that our recycling enforcement team is using, which is a really great application. They don't go a lot of miles every day, and we get to plug in at our level 2 chargers at night. We have 6 level 2 chargers that were funded mostly by government incentives and PSE&G. By the way, PSE&G has great programs available for governments, but also for you as a resident. So if you wanted to put a charging station at your home, you can get a credit on your energy bill of about up to $1,500. So it's a great deal. So look that up. We have an electric vehicle brochure available as well at the HCIA that I'm happy to give out to people if they're interested. But anyway, we got 4 Mach-E's. The county itself has a growing number of electric vehicles as well. They have a Mach-E as well. And we are working on developing, and it's years now in the making, but developing a master plan for not just infrastructure for our own fleet of about a little over 600 vehicles between the HCIA and Hudson County, but also we're working on infrastructure for public use. And so those locations look very different, as you can imagine, because we would kind of have our, fleets overnight in certain parking lots, which would be different than locations that the public would be charging overnight, of course. So, by the way, this EV master plan started because of the excitement, of course, in government with the EV incentives that were made possible through the Inflation Reduction Act, but also because we were receiving a lot of inquiries from residents about when we were getting charging stations in county parks. So I wanted to mention that because those inquiries and those questions that we're getting from the public really led to us getting more serious and prioritizing the EV master plan. So it's been really great. One of the challenges that we experience in developing this EV master plan is that not everybody knows everything about electric vehicles. A lot of times, a lot of folks I know that are listening today are sustainability experts, or you're about to be, or you're pretty much 90% there, right? And so, sometimes we think that other folks understand what we're talking about, but that's not really true. So, as we're talking to directors and maintenance workers and folks that are working on fleets in government, we need to also make sure that they understand fully what an electric vehicle is and how it compares to a gas-powered vehicle and what is the maintenance like and what is it really going to be to have an EV on your fleet. And so a couple of years ago, we developed, we called it the Electric Vehicle Ride and Drive event, where we invited governments all across Hudson County, everyone from the Board of Education to fleet managers, to the sheriff's office, to the police departments, to mayors, council members, commissioners, everyone we could think of that would be advocates and support electric vehicles, to our Ride and Drive event, where we featured 26 vehicles that you would want to put as a government on your fleet. Everything from street sweepers to shuttles and vans to scooters and bikes to school buses as well, so that people can interact with EVs. Because the number one barrier that research has shown to purchasing an electric vehicle is that they've never driven in one before. Is that people don't really, feel comfortable driving a vehicle that they've never driven before, right? So we gave that opportunity to government officials, and we're actually going to be doing it again because a couple of years later, obviously, as you can imagine, there are even more vehicles that are available for governments to purchase. So later this year in the fall, we're going to be hosting another Ride and Drive event for government officials. So right now, what we're trying to do is navigate all of the incentives to really maximize the savings to reduce the burden on taxpayers to introduce electric vehicle charging infrastructure. And one way that we're doing that is with the direct pay tax credit program, which is a program that is came out of the Inflation Reduction Act, the IRA. And the program is to further incentivize solar projects for governments. Okay. And the really great thing about it is further incentivizing solar, which has a savings once you get it, right? Because it's cheaper per kilowatt hour than your utility, purchasing electricity from your utility. In every municipality in the state of New Jersey, by the way, it's cheaper. Well, if it becomes cheaper and we get these incentives, we can actually roll in electric vehicle chargers with the project. And so we're looking at doing 2 large-scale solar projects and putting in charging stations as a phase 1. And then we're also looking at solar projects that are right now 16 and 17 years old that are government initiatives in Hudson County to upgrade and maybe even, scale those solar projects that we currently have. So, we're trying to take advantage as much as we can of the IRA, as long as we have it, of course. And then what we also have done is we passed a resolution at the HCIA, which is to tell directors that we only want to purchase electric vehicles moving forward. But if you cannot find an alternative to your gas-powered vehicle, that you would actually develop a memo to finance, to our finance department, detailing what you've tried to find, detailing what the vehicle is and how you couldn't find an alternative to that vehicle, if that makes any sense. So that resolution, at the HCIA inspired Hudson County to do the same. And so they did it actually by executive order in the county, which is so exciting because it actually is inspiring other counties to do the same. Because in government, it's really hard to say that we care about climate or we care about EVs without putting a plan in place that gives a directive to, department heads essentially on how we want to move forward in our goals for, the year, 2 year, 5 years ahead. And so that helped a lot. I want to give a shout out to New Jersey Clean Cities Coalition. They actually helped us to develop the EV Ride and Drive, and they're working with us on workplace charging strategies. And they actually can work with you too. Full disclosure, I am a board member for New Jersey Clean Cities Coalition, and they kind of help me to keep track of all the new stuff happening in the EV world and the alternative fuel vehicle world. And so they have this program called Empower, EMPOWER, and they will help you they will give you free technical assistance on workplace charging. So please take advantage of that while it's still available. Again, this is a program that is funded through the Vehicle Technology Office under the DOT, the Federal Department of Transportation. So they're a great team, great program. Another program I'm excited to talk about that we're launching this year is the EPA Environmental Justice Government to Government Grant Program, which we received a $1 million grant from them last year. So this is just kind of a photo here of the press event. We're really excited about this because there's a lot of moving parts to this grant, and it's a collaboration between Hudson County and the HCIA, as well as the Hackensack Riverkeeper and the Hudson County Community College. The entire purpose of the grant is to reduce litter, but also to help the public understand that litter that we see on our streets ends up going through our storm drains to our waterways, which ends up in our oceans. So there's also a lot of reasons why we should care more about litter in New Jersey. It reduces property values. Litter creates more litter, which is a huge problem. So if you can't get ahead of the litter problem in your town, it's just going to get worse and worse. It actually does affect people's mental health. And there's a whole bunch of research that has been done on this. So I'm really excited to be working on this year because I think it's a really great example of how governments working with local organizations could really make a difference, a visible difference in our communities. So part of the grant is actually to develop a green infrastructure job training for youth. And that's being developed by the Hudson County Community College, and it is going to be a nationally recognized certificate in green infrastructure. So that is super exciting. I can't wait for that to be launched, and definitely more to come. I'm definitely going to reach out to all of the universities and schools that we can to try and get people enrolled in the program. We are also doing an educational rain garden in one of our county parks. We haven't decided which one yet, but it's coming. So that's a really exciting project as well. And then we're doing the part that the HCIA is responsible for is doing a county-wide litter education campaign. And we're actually working with Keep America Beautiful, which is one of the leading experts in community improvement initiatives in the country. And they actually have an enormous amount of data and case studies on what messaging really works for stopping litter in its tracks, for changing people's behaviors. So we're really excited to work with Keep America Beautiful. They're going to be doing a lot more in New Jersey, which is really exciting. And we are going to be getting the message out there through pretty much every avenue you can think of. We are even giving toolkits of the campaign to local municipalities in Hudson County so that they can take it on for themselves and feature the campaign as well. So you'll see us on the messaging on the sides of New Jersey transit buses, bus stops, the PATH train, online, tap into whatever avenue we can, find. And if you can help us get the messaging out as well, we'll give you a toolkit as well once that's done. Hopefully that'll be finished by, we hope to launch it for actually our Earth Day, April 26th in Jersey City. So one thing that we also did last year to prepare for the EPA grant is we did a survey across the entire county. We went to over 200 locations throughout Hudson County, and we detailed the litter, basically. We identified litter from 1 through 5, 1 being a couple of bottles here and there, 5 being, oh my goodness, this is terrible. And we created a heat map of the entire county and found that there are some areas that we can really target for cleanups. So we want to make that data available. We're still kind of working with it. So once that happens, and if the Stevens is interested, happy to share it with students, of course, to take a look at it to see what you can do with it. But one of our responsibilities through this grant at the HCIA is to come up with targeted cleanups around Hudson County. We have to do 10 or 12 a year for the next 3 years. So if you're an organization, if you're a school, if Stevens wants to do a cleanup, let us know because we can provide a mini grant, $250 up to $500, but also we will give you pickup sticks. We will give you bags, bag grabbers, gloves, all of that, and make sure to take care of all of the trash after you're done cleaning up, of course. And we'll feature you on our social media. And our website. For some additional, so I'm really excited about this project, and you're going to be seeing it soon. Another project that we're working on that we're going to be launching this year, which I think is going to be so impactful, is our residential energy efficiency incentive outreach program. I haven't really come up with a better way of saying that, but so basically the Board of Public Utilities is responsible for implementing the goals that are in the New Jersey Energy Master Plan. And if you check out their website, I put their logo here. It's called the New Jersey Clean Energy Program. If you check out their website, you will see so many different energy efficiency incentives available, not just for government and not just for businesses of different sizes, but also for residents. And so and it's really hard to get people to do the programs because they seem too good to be true. A government official knocking on your door and saying, hey, or sending you a letter saying, hey, we can shave 30% off your monthly energy bill if you do some of these programs that are pretty much free if you qualify by income. A lot of people are not biting, essentially. Businesses aren't as well. So we wanted to figure out a way to help the community really understand these energy incentives. So the county actually has a community assistance outreach team that they developed during COVID to ensure that people have the right information about health services. And they also use that same team to knock on doors in the language of those communities, I want to mention as well, to help them understand other kinds of social assistance programs like welfare programs and food stamps and all those kinds of things. Well, we also want to target low to moderate income families that can really heavily benefit from this program and are heavily incentivized to actually take part in these programs. And so we're using a team of people that are trusted individuals in the community to knock on doors and talk about these incentives. And so I'm really excited because we're going to track who is going to take part in the program, and maybe there's a way to also track how much we're reducing our emissions, and it's a win-win for literally everyone. So please look those up if you can. Okay, so I talked a little bit earlier today about the work that I do with the United Nations and the NGO community. So I wanted to kind of pivot and talk a little bit about that before I move on to talk about some of the experiences that I've had and what I've learned that I can talk about today to help us all accelerate sustainability locally. So I am the UN representative and the director of partnerships for the Foundation for Post-Conflict Development. The FPCD is a UN-associated NGO, And we were created in 2000. I joined the team in 2012 as a youth representative. Actually, our founder and CEO is standing to the right of me in the photo to the right. That's Claudia Abate. She worked in the UN for over 25 years and is became really passionate through the UN work to help post-conflict countries. And specifically, she started out working in East Timor, which is a country in Southeast Asia, which had a civil war a while ago. And she saw what conflict does to a country, and learned about what the needs are in a country that is post-conflict. So we don't do post-conflict resolution. I want to make that clear. We do post-conflict development. So she noticed that one of the things that obviously happens is that the healthcare system, actually the entire infrastructure is damaged and compromised, right, after what would be a civil war. So she developed a program to work with different government leaders around the world. Specifically, in this case, it was the government of Monaco. Prince Albert of Monaco is a big supporter of the FPCD, to be the bridge between this government and East Timor to bring in resources to help to build a maternity clinic. And it's been over a decade since the maternity clinic has been built and has been in operation. And recently, our founder, Claudia, visited the hospital, and it is teeming. It is so successful. It has helped so many women. It has improved the maternal health and mortality of East Timor. And so the programs really work. We've done kitchen gardens. We've taught women how to do kitchen gardens. We created youth centers for young people to give them resources and to feel safe in their environment, in their community. But also recently, we have signed a memorandum of understanding, an MOU, with the G7 plus, and they are 20 self-identified countries considered as post-conflict. And so we are now kind of expanding our scope and working with even more countries to try and be that bridge to help and to find resources that these countries really need. And as you can imagine, if we're talking about post-conflict development of any kind, sustainable development is it's crucial. It's what we believe in the human rights charter at the UN, which is what we have to sign on to be UN associated, but also we believe in the Sustainable Development Goals, and we know that that's going to have, the SDGs are going to bring success in terms of helping post-conflict development countries. So I was there during the Paris Agreement in 2015 in Paris. I was there at the launch of the SDGs in 2012, the Sustainable Development Goals, and just having that experience, seeing what's working in other countries around the world has really been inspiring to me to bring back to the local community. But also, I get to share the experiences that I have in local government as, especially earlier on working with the NGO as a youth representative, to work with other young people all across the globe, to share best practices, what's worked, what hasn't. And so I've had the opportunity multiple times to speak at the UN on behalf of my town, which is a real privilege and an honor. Okay, so what have I learned about sustainability from global advocates and folks? And how can we actually bring that together to accelerate sustainability locally? Okay, so there's obviously lots of different things that we can do to accelerate sustainability. I'm going to bring up the ones that I see are going to be the most impactful in the work that I do. So public-private partnerships, we talk about this all the time in sustainability and in government, but there's a reason why SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, number 17 is partnerships for the goals. It's because we're not going to be able to achieve global sustainability with just governments acting, right? We're going to need everyone, including higher education institutions, of course. But we are going to need the private sector as well. And what I've seen across the globe is that the governments that actually have a strategy working with business are actually accelerating sustainability locally. And so I really hope that we can bring that here in the US. There are so many different examples of governments incentivizing clean tech startups, climate tech, energy, renewable energy type of businesses and startups. We actually are doing that here in the state of New Jersey. So the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, the New Jersey EDA, if you haven't heard about the EDA, please look them up because they're continuing to expand to try and figure out how to create a better market for sustainable businesses in New Jersey, because we understand in New Jersey how important it is to bring in this industry. It can strengthen our local economy, of course. And so they have an accelerator program to help businesses to understand how to navigate government and to help them to scale their businesses, because we need those solutions to happen. We need governments to help those solutions. Another way that I see public-private partnerships happening on a global scale, which we can bring here locally in New Jersey and across the US, is to scale pilot programs. Governments, there are some really innovative governments. I would consider Hudson County to be innovative. And so what we can do is we can work with businesses to allow them to do a pilot program of whatever it is, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be energy related, of course. We're talking about all sustainable businesses. To have a pilot program that we can do, we can run in the county, we can run in a municipality. They can work out the kinks. They can understand how to scale in this environment, on the East Coast or in the state or in the country. And then they could learn how to scale more easily. So that's another way that governments can help businesses. And then another way that I've seen, ways that we can scale climate solutions is that governments really have to understand that the technologies that we see, the green tech, the clean tech technologies, are advancing so rapidly that regulations that we have at the state and federal level here in the United States are not keeping up, not keeping pace with that. And so what we really need to see is, an understanding of what these businesses really need in order to scale. So a really good example of this is last month or a couple of months ago, I did a tour of the largest non-lithium ion battery in the country, which is actually located in Edison, New Jersey, by the way. We have some really interesting companies that are moving into Jersey. It's called EOS. Look them up. They're an awesome company. They created a battery that works better than a lithium ion battery, which there's a lot of issues with lithium ion batteries, and it's heavily regulated by the states, by different states, especially in the US. They created a zinc powered one, and they're finding it difficult to scale up their projects or to bring them to, for instance, the state of New Jersey and a few other states in the country, because the regulations are so outdated for battery storage that it doesn't take into account this new kind of technology. So how are they going to be able to, put an energy program, a battery program in a community if the regulations are not up to date? So that's just a really interesting example. Another thing that I see happening, which actually I interact with all the time in the work that I do in the county, is the importance of government to government collaboration. Because the bottom line here is that, what we're trying to do when we try to launch sustainability programs of any kind is that they're not necessarily new. Someone else has tried them out. And as a government official, you don't have a lot of time, you don't have a lot of energy, you don't have a lot of money. And so in order for you to make your projects the most efficient as possible, you really should be reaching out to other governments to have a conversation with them about programs that they have that's similar, to see what's worked and what hasn't worked, so that you can continue to build and succeed on programs. And I personally, if I see that another county is interested in a program or is doing a program on electric vehicles, on solar, or whatever it is, I will call them up and I'll say, hey, we've done something similar, or we're doing something similar. Let's stay in touch, or let me tell you what worked and what hasn't. Um, and so, because of the experience that I have doing that now, I'm bringing that to my business, which is Envision Green LLC, to work with governments, across outside of Hudson County that are in need of that assistance. And then, of course, it's not just about working with cities and towns that are within your state, but we can also actually reach out to governments across, different countries, right? So that's one thing that I have privilege and access to at the UN is I get to talk to governments all around the world on projects that may be similar to what we're trying to do here in New Jersey to see what works and what doesn't. So recently, I attended the Summit of the Future last year at the United Nations, and I met the mayor of Heidelberg, Germany, which he did a presentation showcasing that they are the greenest city in Germany. And he, after having a conversation with him, offered to, for me to have a conversation with his team about some of the initiatives that we're trying to pull off in Hudson County to see if they've done it and if they can provide some advice on the success of their programs, right? So we actually did have a meeting with them a couple of months ago. They have so many awesome things going on in Germany, but the amazing thing I want to point out is that so many of the programs are very similar to what we offer in New Jersey. And they are the ones that helped inform us to develop a better program for our energy efficiency outreach program that we're going to be launching this year. They told us that the best way that we can get the information to residents in New Jersey is to have trusted people knock on their doors in their own language that have provided information to them before. And so they trained people in their community that were leaders, they were organization leaders, they were faith leaders, whatever it is, to go out into the community. And so we took that advice from Germany and we're applying it here in Hudson County. So let's hope that the program is successful. The picture here to the right I wanted to mention is actually a press event that happened a couple of weeks ago where we had this press event in Sea Caucus, which was in Hudson County, to celebrate the fact that that the state of New Jersey has reached 5 gigawatts of installed solar capacity in New Jersey, which is a huge milestone for the state. And, a big congratulations to everyone that has been involved in this. But the only reason it happened, and the reason why I have it on this government to government slide, is because it was a collaboration between states, municipalities, and counties to get this done. And it was a mission and a goal that we all had. And we were all aligned in this goal. It's really easy to work on solar because everyone in government understands that it's cheaper, we have incentives, and we understand how it impacts the environment and the public. And we also know how the process is rolled out. There's a lot of companies that can put solar panels up within a short period of time. And so I hope that we can do this with other, more advanced energy technologies to make our grid more resilient in New Jersey. And then the last way that I want to talk about that we can accelerate sustainability locally is actually through you. Public input is crucial. I have many examples of projects that I've worked on in my career that were launched because residents sent an email to a mayor or a commissioner or a council member. So it really does matter, understanding who your council member is, your commissioner, your representative of any kind, your mayor, to reach out and send an email and just say, hey, I really care about climate change. You're all on the call. You're all sustainability experts. You understand what communities can do and what is needed in your own community, right? So you have kind of responsibility to reach out, to talk to your representatives and ask questions, but do so in the spirit of collaboration because government officials are not sustainability experts. They're learning as we go. Literally, we're learning as we go, right? And so, if you have ideas, send them because that actually might be a way to help them to prioritize more climate issues. And then also want to mention that we really do need a lot of different kinds of people to interact with government, including artists, students, and educators. Um, And then just a couple of important facts here that I think would be inspiring to leave you with is Yale Climate Communications. They have a research lab. They did a survey in 2023. I wanted to show you that some of the results that came out of the survey in Hudson County, because it actually is some of the most progressive climate views in the country that we have right here. So global warming is happening. 81% said yes. These are some great numbers here. Over 70% say that most scientists think global warming is happening and that global warming is caused by human activities. So there's a lot of support for climate initiatives. This is actually on a national scale. I wanted to show you this as well. You can look up, your county on the website, by the way, if you don't live in Hudson County. But this specifically is the question that they posed in this poll was, should we fund research in renewable energy sources? And all across the country, over 50%, in New Jersey, it was 82% of people said, yes, we should. And so I think that we just need to be more vocal with what our needs are and what our wants are in our own communities. Okay. And I want to leave you with this reasons for hope here that I've actually experienced and gleaned from my work at on the global level is that sustainability is gaining momentum everywhere around the world. And governments as well as corporations have been doubling down on trying to achieve climate goals. That is true. There's so many amazing examples of what's going to happen in the next 5 years as it relates to climate and sustainability across the world. And, even though we're going through a rough time right now in the United States and we're a little bit unsure of what's happening, I want to assure you that governments and companies around the world are actually evolving their message so that more people in sustainability, so that more people can really understand what we're trying to do here. It's not trying to achieve sustainability, right? It's trying to provide cheap, affordable energy. And right now, what is so exciting is since 2023, what we've seen is that clean energy is the cheaper alternative in most parts of the world. And that's going to make a huge difference. And last year at the Summit of the Future, the whole goal was for governments to double down and accelerate the achievements of the SDGs, which we were supposed to be achieving by 2030. So over the next 5 years, governments, businesses, schools, your community really needs you to help them to achieve, any kind of sustainability goals that they have. Of course, I mentioned the SDGs because look at how many goals there are. Everyone has an interest, I think, in improving their community, and that is reflected in the Sustainable Development Goals, which is really exciting. So I will end here and want to say thanks so much for listening, and I hope that I can answer any questions if we have any time. Thank you.
Hey, Amanda, as usual, that was an excellent presentation.